Welcome to the Real Facts on Real Estate podcast, presented by Sean Patrick Maloney. In this series, we educate real estate agents on how to find success in the industry and grow their wealth to six-figure commissions and beyond. Now here is your host, Sean Maloney.
Welcome to episode 289, Getting Paid as a Buyer's Agent. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Maloney. Thanks for joining me this week. Guys, I wanted to talk to you serious. August 17th, it came and went. The new normal is here. If you're a realtor or you're trying to be protected by the realtor settlement, you need to be paying attention and make sure you get paid. This is kind of comical to me, guys, because I've been saying all along in real estate, if it's not on the contract, you might not have it happen. Now, I know for a long time we've had the MLS system, we've had cooperating compensations and everything, but there was never a rule saying that commissions had to be something. And if you're a true professional and you believe in your value, you believe in how much you should be paid. So some of you out there have already been doing buyer agent agreements, but other of you didn't do them till now. With it now in place, it's easy for you guys to get confused. How am I going to get paid? The thing is, you got to look at each transaction. Whether you're a list agent or the buyer's agent, looking at each transaction for what commission structure is going to make sense. This is new, right? A lot of us are really just kind of first learning this. So with the buyer agent paid directly by the seller, that's one option, right? So originally we used to take cooperating compensation and the seller's agent would hand it over to the buyer's agent. Well, now we can go directly to the seller via the offer. That's not a new thing, guys. There's just a new added clause on the offer sheet making it easier for you to do this. But you could have always asked for this. You could have always asked for anything you want on a contract because that is what you're writing is an offer. The difference is now the cooperating compensation isn't listed online. Now, some brokerages took the stance they're not going to offer cooperating compensation. Other brokerages said they are going to offer cooperating compensation. Some of the ones that say they're not going to offer cooperating compensation and said they're not going to really want their sellers to pay any commissions. Other ones are saying they want their sellers to pay commissions, but they don't want to take it through cooperating. So kind of the three ways to get paid would be, one, the buyer agreement with your buyer. Your buyer pays you the fee that is due based on what your agreement with them is. Two, cooperating compensation. Will you accept it? Does your brokerage accept it? Will you be offering it? All these questions, right? And then three would be seller direct. Is it going to be offered? Well, just like everything has always been and will always be in real estate, everything's negotiable. So it's important to think of the strategies you need for each and every application to ensure you're going to get paid, but also to ensure that the client is going to get the best deal possible. So when we look out there and we say competitive market space, buyer agents who have clients that are able to pay for them by themselves may be better off to say to their clients, the best thing you could do to improve your offer is to pay the compensation. That way there, even if they're offering it, we can leave that for them over at the seller, because what that's going to go ahead and do is it's going to go ahead and allow the seller to have a higher net sheet. Because at the end of the day, the pluses and minuses, it's all about one thing. How much money's left in my pocket? So if the buyer's agent's paid by the buyer themselves, it improves the offer. So this is going to be something similar to what we've seen. Waiving appraisals, we've seen waiving of inspections, we've seen all these different things happen. Now one more thing would be waiving a buyer agent fee. It's another way to improve the offer. But ultimately speaking, the only way to ensure all this happens is to contractually agree upon all of it and make sure you're doing it all above the board. I've already heard agents out there saying things like they're going to have these different touring agreements where there's no commission, and then if they like the property and they want to make an offer, then they have to move into the next level. I've heard all different things. I'm not going to bash anybody. Why? We don't know what's going to work. My opinion is the best thing we can think of is think of ourselves like water and follow the easiest path, the least resistance, right? We want to make it easy for the consumer. Whether buyer or seller alike, we got to make it easy for them, and we got to add value. If we don't add value and make it easy, we're going to get in our own way, and people are going to think they don't need us. Are there going to be people out there that go working without a buyer's agent? Of course, there already are. There always will be, guys. Those people don't really matter. They're not going to use you until they feel the experience of maybe some pain. and then they realize what they did wrong, but it's too late because they already own a home. So oftentimes we'll meet people who have done that in the past, but there's going to be unrepresented people. That said, most people understand when you make investments, right, which is what real estate really is. This is an investment. Buying stocks, trading bonds, all these different things. You can go at it alone, or you can hire somebody who's an experienced professional to guide you. People who are well educated and want to buy things are going to go to a broker or an agent every time. They're not going to say to themselves, you know what I want to do? I want to spend $1 million and I'm going to save $25,000 by practicing risky behavior. No, they're going to think to themselves, the $25,000 I pay my buyer's agent is going to pay itself back tenfold in the idea of I'm not going to have all these different issues. They're going to help me navigate. They're going to negotiate for me and everything. You have to realize it's a new time, guys. Getting paid is part of the deal. Talk about it early, talk about it often, explain how it works. Explain your value, show your value, and continue to grow and foster great relationships. If you foster great relationships and you continue to build, you will find that people will make it happen. And for those of them who don't have the money to do it, remember, we now have the contract to purchase. We can put into line item 2 that the seller is to pay us our commission. That can be one of the negotiations in your buyer contract. You can say that they can't pay you, but that you're going to retrieve that commission elsewhere. These are okay. Guys, there is no rules to these. Remember, get creative, talk with your broker. I'm not going to give people who don't work in my brokerage guidance on this, but talk with your broker about what your policies will be, what your company wants to do, how they want to work. Learn it, grind it, and then get out there and display that you know what you're talking about and land those clients. Guys, buyer's agents aren't going away. Getting paid isn't going away. And the truth is, it gets more and more confusing every year. So if anything, our value continues to rise if you're educating yourself. I can tell you are because you're here listening to this podcast, and I'm really proud of you for that. If you guys want to talk more about this, jump into the Facebook group. Throw it in the comments up there. I'd love to get that group more active. Thanks for listening today, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Want to check us out more? Check us out on Real Facts on realestate.com. Thank you again, and have a great afternoon.